switched off of Wi-Fi.
Okay. We're back.
Holy.
We're live everywhere.
Crazy.
Long time no see.
Long time no see.
You know what? You know what I'm missing? I'm missing the theme song right now.
I know. I don't even remember how to play it on guitar. Otherwise, I would. Maybe I can pull it up on my iPad somehow.
I'm just gonna pretend that we're grooving to our theme song. Karate in the Garage with the Brothers Night. It's Saturday, May 22.
I might have a way to get it here.
Don't break your back. It's okay. We're just rolling. We're just rolling with what we have.
We're just rolling.
Hey friends, how you doing out there on the internet? It's been a while. We've missed you.
Yeah. I have no way of seeing the comments just because I'm on my phone. So I guess I can.
You know what? I'm going to post them on the screen. So Sean is going to scream like the chicken in Moana.
That's your kids are older than ours, Sean. So I don't know what the chicken in Moana screams like, really.
Ben is saying, "Welcome back, Dad Bros. Good to see you again. It's good to see you, Ben. We'll make sure to tell your kids to go to sleep."
Yeah, they've been awake for weeks, those kids.
Joao says, "Hey guys, it's cool that you're back. It's good to be back." Dan Drive says, "Greetings from Winnipeg," or "Greetings Winnipeg," and we say, "Greetings Germany."
He's in Bremen.
Keith Wilkinson says, "Sup, dads." Keith, I was thinking of you. I closed my closet door for this live stream. I was thinking about you always judging my closet game, so I closed it. Yeah. Nice to see some familiar names in the comments. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Joe, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. My camera is I miss the studio rig a little bit right now.
We're fully locked down this weekend. Manitoba is one of the COVID hotspots in North America at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah, per capita, we've got some of the worst numbers. So things are slammed shut. Hence, reviving our internet hang from each other's houses. Look at that spread, Joey.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
I'm not messing around here. I'm gonna make some coffee. I'm gonna eat some soup. I made some chicken soup this week. As a dad does.
Yep.
As a dad does. What else did I made some ribs this week. Yeah, just doing like a dad do.
Doing like the dads do. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Ben is asking, have you guys had the vaccine yet?
Not yet.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, you go.
I got mine Wednesday last week. And it was a profound experience. Bert and I went and got our shots a couple minutes apart. And I am very, very happy to be part of this insane modern science experiment. And very excited to do my part to get us a little closer to going back to normal, because I want to go back to work and I want to see my friends and I want to hug my family.
Yeah.
Joey, you got yours coming up right away, hey?
Tomorrow morning. I'm getting the shot tomorrow morning. Yeah, and Anna's scheduled June 1st. So
cool.
Yeah.
Dad says, "Hello, my sons. Hello, my father."
Hello, Father.
Hope you're having a lovely start to your weekend. Dad made it an extra long weekend. He took off Friday. Turned into a 4-day stretch. I like the way you think.
Move. That's a boss move.
Jim, Michelle, Kelly says, "What have you been listening to?" What have you been listening to, Joe?
Man. there's this guy named Chase Bryant, who's the son of Jimmy Bryant, and he has an incredible voice. And I found him because I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm a pedal board nerd. I love pedal boards. I love building them. I love talking about them. I love looking at them. So I'm gonna follow hashtag pedal boards on Instagram now.
Okay.
So that was like my big thing that I did. And one of the first things that happened is I saw XTS, I think is the company in Nashville. They build pedals and boards and stuff. They posted a picture of his pedal board, and I was like, that's a really rad, crazy looking pedal board. I wonder who this guy is. And he's like a sort of, I don't know, country singer dude from Texas with just one of my absolute favorite voices. So I've been listening to his record a lot, and new Scott McKeon record, which is really, 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 really good. Which Roberta designed the album art for.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah. Produced and engineered by Paul Stacey. And
your buddy from the UK.
Yeah. And man, it is so good. I haven't really there's some singing on it, but it's mostly instrumental, and I haven't really dug on an instrumental record like this probably since Mike Landau's Live 2000. It's just like it is beautiful, beautiful music that just happens to be instrumental electric guitar music, but it's just like it's kind of one of those records that, for me at least, it sort of transcends the genre. It doesn't, sometimes you put on an instrumental record and it's just like, and it's just gorgeous. It's really, really gorgeous. And most importantly, my daughter likes it.
That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing.
I there's gauges for things, like I put music on, and if Joni doesn't start fussing, or if she enjoys dancing to it, then yeah.
Great question.
Great question. What have you been listening to, Dave?
Honestly, I've been in a bit of a drought. I am working.
You're working so hard.
I'm working really, really hard right now, and I can't listen to music when I work. Like, I can't split my brain that way. It's like either I'm full A or full B. I'm either like fully creative, or I'm totally going the other way. So it's been like a lot of work, a lot of admin and worky work, which is good. I mean, I'm glad to have the work, and glad to be busy. But I will say, there was an artist that I came across. I'm doing this. The label is working on this project, this really cool collaboration, a bunch of folk artists from across the world collaborating on songs, recording them remotely, and then putting them up. And I came across this singer she's an artist from Australia named Becca Amani, and she doesn't have a ton of music out, but her most recent couple of tracks, I just think she's got this really unique, beautiful voice. So I would say check that out. Hey, you know what? I'm going to write these names in the comments, Joe. What was the first one you said?
Chase Bryant.
Unsolicited recommendations. How do you spell recommendations? Recommendations. 1 C, 2 M's. Recommendations from the bros. I'm going to say Becca Amani and Chase Bryant, Bryant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. It spits it out everywhere. Cool.
Yeah.
Here's a fun question. Ben is asking, when is the Bros Nursery Bedtime Acoustic album coming out? I mean, called it. We're totally scheming one.
We're scheming one. Although it's not it's not going to be like a lullaby record. I think it's just going to be inspired by early parenthood. So the idea, I just sort of pitched Dave on this like a week or two ago, but like there's a handful of songs that I sing to my daughter when I'm trying to get her to go to sleep, and I thought it would just be really, really cool to make an instrumental record where we reimagine those things. And then the funnest part is there's a handful of just random little melodies that I've made up over the last 10 weeks And so I kind of want to take some of those and turn them into tunes. So we already, I mean, between these random tunes and a couple of covers, we already have enough for a record. We just need to get out of this lockdown and get into the studio and put into music.
We have a lot of recording projects planned for the next little bit. And I mean, chief among them is finishing the record.
Yeah.
Want to do something sort of we want to go in and tackle something for the 10-year release, 10-year, what's the word I'm looking for? Anniversary of Let It Lie, because that's actually coming up pretty soon.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
I love that. 10 years, man. And so we got a lot of stuff schemed, a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah.
My father-in-law is in the comments. Hey, Bob. Nice to see you too. Bob's profile
Hampton in the house.
picture. Yeah. Bob's profile picture is holding Finn, which I'm always into.
Finn snoozing right now?
Yeah. I think Roberta. Yeah. I just heard Roberta leave his room, so he's down. Nice. Dave Zaglinski popped in and he says, "I don't like to hear music as a background thing. I love to really listen to music which requires attention and a loud kick-ass system." And I am exactly the same animal. I don't actually enjoy listening to music passively, and pretty much don't do it. Like when I listen to tunes, I want to put on the headphones and put my head down and close my eyes and just listen. Yeah. Or I don't want to do it at all. But sadly.
I'm the same way. I do like to listen to music when I cook, but that's pretty unique. I don't really like to do anything else.
I think there's something to be said about like Roberta when she's designing and she's creating stuff, she can listen to audiobooks and podcasts all day.
Yeah, but Roberta is a space alien. Like her ability to create things, and like I feel like she has one of those brains that like a scientist needs to study.
I think yes, I agree. In the best possible way. Yeah, it's a very weird compliment to call somebody a space alien and that their brain should be a science experiment. But I get where you're coming.
I mean that in the nicest possible way, like in a reverent way.
We all assume that. Reverence intended, but I think there's something to be said for just the way our brains work. Because when I'm watching a movie, I can pick up any instrument, my bass. Only instruments I know how to play. I can't pick up like a lute.
A zither.
What's that wind up one? It's the weird wind up one that you play.
A hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah, I can't pick up a hurdy-gurdy because
I think probably 90% of the population of the world can't pick up a hurdy-gurdy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's all to say, I think it's the kind of work allows you to engage different parts of your brain. So like when I'm writing, and because a lot of my work is writing, I'm either like writing proposals or responding to emails, or I'm building out grant applications or whatever. And when I'm doing that, I can't engage with lyrics or melodies and that kind of thing. I could probably listen to like spa music, but I don't want to do that. No offense to the Enya fans in the comments.
Or Enya.
Or Enya. We listen to Enya at bedtime often. There's a handful of artists that we listen to that like are like very calming and chill. Phosphorescent, Bon Iver, Enya.
Oh man, yeah,
that's 90 night music.
I love Bon Iver, but any of their records, like I can't tell you what happens after the second song because I'm instantly like deep sleep.
I've grown to love his music.
I don't mean I don't like it. Like I find it incredibly relaxing. I also want to acknowledge how brave I am for eating soup on a live stream.
Yeah, especially with that mustache, dude. That's what I'm talking about. That's a little soup mop on the front of your face.
Soup room.
Man, so let's talk a little bit about being soft rock dads in the middle of a pandemic. This is a full disclosure. this is a term we are hoping to coin.
Yeah. We want this to
I've
go.
never
We want this to
felt-
go viral.
I've never felt more understood than being called a soft rock dad.
Yeah.
Also, I had a moment today. I was hanging out with Finn, and he grabbed the little portable keyboard that I have in the living room for whenever I need to do junk on the iPad. I can pull out this little keyboard, and I was showing him how to type names. You know, it's like, look, Fin, that's Finn. Obviously, doesn't mean anything to him, but I'm just trying to, you know,
Just engaging with him. Yeah.
just engaging him. So type out mom's name, Roberta, Roberta, and then I get to my name, and I'm like, you know what? Nobody at my house calls me by my name. Like I don't even really think of myself as a Dave or a David anymore because
You're just dad.
I'm just dad. And Roberta has a couple like, you know, pet names that she calls me, but never, unless I'm in tons of trouble, I don't hear my first name in the house. And it's been whatever it's been. I don't know. What are we at? 16 months or 14 months of pandemicness.
Yeah.
So I really haven't heard my own name at all. And it was like, huh. Like I definitely associate more with dad than I do with Dave. And deeply, like not just the name, but like I think of myself as dad.
Yeah.
Maybe once upon a time I thought of myself as like a bass player or whatever, you know, guy who works at Old Navy. But
Old Navy Davy.
Old Navy Davy, I definitely think of myself as dad now.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Although I'm in definitely a different stage, of course. But
here's Tailwind Mechanics comes in and says, LOL, yeah, I'm Amor or Papai at home. Haven't heard my name in a long time. I get you. You're probably a soft rock dad.
I think so. Yeah.
You can also be a soft rock mom.
You can. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, Anna uses my name fairly frequently. Like, but we call each other love more often than each other's names. I like to use her name, like, because I just like her name, and I don't know. Yeah, we're definitely just moms and dads now.
Yeah, definitely are.
Yeah.
TD wants soft rock dads merch.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm too close to it. I need to give it time to breathe to make sure that it's not just a passing thing, but I could definitely be inspired.
Yeah. We'll have to come up with slogans like I normally wear a size large shirt, but I recently got some extra large shirts, and they're a little bit big on me, but man, I'm never wearing tight clothes again. That's just like
you're a soft rock dad.
Yeah, my skinny jeans. Rest in peace, boys. Rest in peace. Those suckers, they're never gonna see another leg. You know, that's that for me. And I identify with it so hard. It's like the other day I put on, like, you know, the last pair of jeans that I had that I wore on stage, and I put them on and it was like, screw this. These are so tight, it's hard to walk. And I like the way they look. I think they look cool. I'm never wearing those again. Screw that. So
yeah.
And
Soft
same thing
belly.
with the large shirts. I have a large collection of t-shirts that I really, really like, and a lot of those are also rest in peace, boys.
A segue on that, Pierre says, congratulations on your nomination for the Western Canadian Music Awards for Recording of the Year. I hear that there will be a new soft rock dad category next year. Get to work.
Hell yes.
If a category were to spring open called Soft Rock Dad of the Year,
hang on.
Dads.
We're missing an opportunity here. Soft rock dadagory.
Don't.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say that. So the Western Canadian Music Awards are definitely like they're a regional thing for Western Canada, obviously. But I'm so proud of the nominations that came out this year. Oh, Joey, did we lose you? What happened to you?
No, I'm still here. Sorry.
You're messing around. You can't switch apps.
I had to text Anna and tell her that the coffee's ready. I was trying not to interrupt what you were saying, but now.
Just so you know, if you switch apps, you disappear, and everyone's going to think that you were struck by lightning.
I mean,
what I wanted to say was, I'm so proud of our little music company, the little music company that could, because Birthday Cake artists and the company itself got nominated for a total of 14 nominations.
Wow.
So we cleaned house, and I'm so proud of the artists that we get to work with, and the people at Birthday Cake that we get to work with are the staff that really make it run and hum, and they work so hard over the last 18 months. And
it's super cool. It's an interesting thing because obviously I don't think anybody makes music to win awards. That's just kind of the antithesis of what music is all about. But totally. Man, is it ever validating to have the acknowledgement from your peers to say, hey, we see the work that you're doing, and you're doing good work. I mean, the nomination to me is the coolest part. The winning and not winning of an award is kind of arbitrary. It doesn't really matter. But it's just like to get acknowledged by your peers like that is really affirming. So
I think so.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that 87 got some love, because we worked really hard on that record, and I think it sounds really, really great, and I'm proud of the music that's on there. I'm proud of the message that it delivers. So I'm glad that it got some acknowledgement as well.
Ditto. Yeah, I do love that album. I'm so excited for all of you to hear the new one, though. I'm so excited to get back to work on it, to be honest, because we've been without it for the last 2.5 months. So
yeah, I listened through like the rough mixes of where we're at in the new record just the other day, and found myself kind of taken back. Like, man, I really like this record, and it's often really hard to be objective about something when you're making it. And I was really pleasantly surprised to find myself like, oh, I want to hear that song again. So I don't know, maybe that's a terrible sign, but who knows?
You know what? I was thinking about that album the other day, and with enough distance, one of the things that I'm really grateful for is that it really captured the sound of that band at that time too.
87.
Yeah, like me and you, Ryan and Ariel.
Yeah.
I think we fought it a lot. We struggled. Like, that record was hard to make. It was a challenge to make in some respects. But when I go back and look at it, I'm like, what's awesome is that's what this band sounded like.
Yeah.
That lineup of guys making music together.
That's what
made that record.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that. It's really awesome. And for me now, it's become kind of like a way to revisit that, especially this like last year and a half of not making any music.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, couple of questions. For a comment, Bowden McAllister says, I'm walking home drunk thinking about guitars.
Yeah, wicked.
Awesome. Don't run into any poles.
Walk safely. I hope you're not watching the stream while you're walking drunk. It's important to keep your eyes front. Eyes forward.
Eyes forward, and I'm glad you're not driving.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, thanks for not driving.
Then Ben has a serious question. It says, serious question. What is the vernacular for someone from Winnipeg? Pegs? Winnies? Winnonians? And Pegites. I think there's a typo here, but he did mean to say Pegites.
We are Winnipeggers.
Yeah, or Peggers.
Although our pal Katie Hurt coined the term Winnipenguins, which
also kind of appropriate.
She was here during the winter, and I feel like if you've never been to Winnipeg during the winter, don't you dare say Winterpeg, Manitoba. If you spent time here in the winter, you can say what you want.
Yeah,
But when somebody's like,
you get a little merit
"Oh,
badge.
you're from Winterpeg," I'm like, you better watch yourself. You better watch yourself.
Let me see your passport. I want to see the stamp. I want to see the stamp between October and March.
Yeah.
Well, okay, more questions. Throughout the pandemic, did you ever have, again, another typo, he corrects it later. Tailwind Mechanics is asking, throughout the pandemic, did you ever have a panic moment for birthday cake? It's kind of interesting because our company, our music company, really had an opportunity to flourish because of the pandemic. We were excited about it and we were really interested in growing it, but we were also, when we started, we were also in the midst of launching a new record, getting ready to tour. We had so much on our plates. Stu's management roster was firing on all cylinders. So the company, I think the trajectory would have looked a lot more gradual, but once the pandemic hit, we, in order to keep it from going under or just basically losing all the momentum, we instead turned around and just hit it super, super hard. So we invested all of our time and energy and resources into building it up. And so I think in a lot of ways, that company Birthday Cake is what it is right now because of this really strange time, because we were able to sort of, there was nothing else.
Put all the eggs in that basket. Yeah.
Totally,
and I think it's interesting because the pandemic has really shifted, I think, the way everybody looks at doing business, because, it takes so much time to build a business from scratch. And obviously Birthday Cake took a lot of time and effort, but I think there was definitely like what is it, logarithmic? Like it just sort of went in terms of like creative output, and wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for this. It's really, really interesting. Crazy time.
Totally. Yeah. Joey, it wouldn't be a hangout.
Is it time? We're only 27 minutes in.
No.
I can't see that.
It's time for to answer a question about the Lowell George record that you promised everyone.
Yeah.
Aaron Lewis asks, how's the Lowell George record looking?
Looking great. It's going to come out this year. I think I promised that it was going to be out in July, but it's going to be out a little bit later, just because I want to make some videos. So and it's going to take some time. This project is just a labor of love, and when Stu and I sat down to talk about making a release plan and schedule, was like, I really just I want to get all the pieces together. I want to make a bunch of video. I want there to be live content to come along with the release, and I'm just too excited about it to pardon me, rush it along. So it will be out in 2021. That is a promise. Exact date, TBD. But the album artwork is done now, and yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Bowden or Bowden McAllister says, "Oh, I'm watching the stream while walking drunk. No chance that I'd miss this."
Oh, right. Okay. Well, just keep one eye, I guess, on the road or on the sidewalk.
Don't die. That's what we want. Don't die. Don't die while watching.
Please don't. Yeah, don't die while watching the stream. It's not worth it. You can watch it later.
Yeah.
Tailwind Mechanics. What's your name, by the way? Drop it in the comments so we know who we're speaking with. Or if you want to remain anonymous, you're also welcome to that.
Yeah.
Tailwind Mechanics says, that's great, guys. Props to making a good thing out of a bad time. He had the question about the pandemic panic.
Yeah.
He says, my industry did pretty well too. Actually kind of feel a bit guilty, but hey, we need to take any wins we can get right now.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Like, it's been a brutal stretch, and I think we got to celebrate all the good that we possibly can, because it's so easy to get. Like, here we are in the third wave, and I'm feeling fucking tired.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a lot that I could complain about, or I could really try and focus on the positive. And I think I'm seeing people really like it's like the last 2 miles of the marathon and everybody's digging really deep to try and pull through. And I'm seeing a lot of people making that effort. And it makes me really hopeful. So yeah, celebrate the wins.
Absolutely. You know, hey, I don't know that I would be a father to my daughter if it wasn't for the pandemic. You know, we've wanted to start a family for a long time. Like, it's been a conversation that we've been having, but the timing has always been tricky, like with how much we travel and like when is a good time. I want to be around, I want to be a part of it. And the pandemic was like, here's basically a window of 2 years with no traveling. So now is the time. So as hard and challenging as this time has been and devastating for a lot of people, there's definitely there are opportunities, I guess. It's hard to say there's a silver lining, because I know that for a lot of people there isn't. But it's presented some opportunities that I'm grateful for, that's for sure.
Good attitude, dude. Bowden McAllister says it's Bowden, like bow and arrow. Bowden.
Bowden.
Now we know.
Right on, Bowden.
Still, please don't kill yourself, Bowden. Keith Wilkinson, by the way, that's something I meant to highlight. Keith says, let me see if I can go back and find it. Keith says, I'm Keith for now, but I'll be joining the Soft Rock Dads crew this fall. Keith, congratulations.
Congratulations.
You figured it out. You figured out how to make a baby.
It's pretty easy, actually. Unsolicited parenting advice. This made such a difference for Anna and I. Go buy the Taken Care of Babies, Will I Ever Sleep Again sleep course. It didn't solve all of our problems, but man, did it ever just give us something to point our attention to. Because when we have a newborn baby at home that wasn't sleeping, and you're like, I don't know, do I keep her awake? Do I wake her up after a certain time? What do I do? It was really, really helpful. And that's probably for me been the hardest thing about parenthood is just the lack of sleep is really, really, really tough. And I mean, like, I do a job where we don't sleep a lot, and I think that it really has prepared me for this, but this is so much more difficult than, like, I don't know. Actually, honestly, I got to say that weekend where we went Lancaster, Pennsylvania to Vancouver to Prince Edward Island in one weekend, that was maybe probably worse, but I feel like parenting a newborn is that weekend over and over and over and over and over. Yeah.
It's unrelenting, and it's again the marathon, not the sprint. Like, tour is exhausting in a way that I haven't actually experienced with parenting. But after 3 weeks, you're home, and at least you're in your bed, and now you get a good sleep in, and a day or two later, and you start to feel like a human being again. But there is no reprieve from the parenting. Like, it's just constant.
No, and we've been haunted by this one night where Joni basically slept through the night, and that was just like set this impossible precedent that we're just like, now we just got to figure out what we need to do in order to get her to sleep through the night. And I think the thing that I've really settled into is that there's no combination. Like, she's just going to do what she's going to do. And there are things that we can do to kind of set her up and put her in a good position to sort of sleep how we want and for how long. But sometimes it's like, doesn't matter if she's exhausted, she's fully fed, she's got a clean butt. Sometimes she's like, nah, I'm going to sleep for 20 minutes and then I'm going to scream for 90. You're like, oh, okay, great. But I mean, she also, I think, compared to a lot of friends, and including Finn, I think was you guys had a harder time getting him to sleep. I think we're pretty lucky with our baby. But all that to say, once your baby gets here, go spend $100. I really found that so helpful. Of all the advice that I've gotten since I became a dad, that's the most profound thing that we stumbled across that just gave us something to focus on. And they lay out a couple of potential schedules that of course are not set in stone, but man, did it ever make a difference to just go, okay, well, she's been awake for 3 hours, so she's probably tired again. you know, and we didn't, you know, you just don't know what you don't know until you're in the middle of it.
Absolutely.
And now I'm gonna start a YouTube channel called Soft Rock Dads, where I just give people unsolicited advice about how to raise their children. Just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
People love that shit. People love that shit.
Yeah, they do. I mean, we watch a lot of it too, but it's also like I find it's really misleading, because a lot of times you have people say, if you do this, this is gonna happen. It's just like, that's just not how it works
No.
with babies. It's like the first thing that happened, we watched that Taking Care of Babies thing. We were so fired up. We learned so much, and we went and we did like the 5-step thing that will guarantee to have your baby fall asleep, and she screamed for hours. And it was just like, none of this works. And then it was like, oh, it's because this one step she doesn't like. So if we modify this one step, then all the other steps worked. But, you know, you just have to try stuff, you know. You have to try stuff and experience it, and also just be ready to have your ego absolutely broken to pieces.
Shattered.
Just shattered.
Okay, a bunch of comments to catch up on here.
Okay.
Tailwind Mechanics, aka Shay, short for Seamus, from Dublin, Ireland, also is expecting their second son mid-July. Congratulations!
Hey, congratulations, Shay.
Two babbies for Shay. Congratulations, that's fantastic.
Man, we got to get our way. Got to get ourselves over to Ireland.
One of these days.
Yeah.
Keith says, Ben recommends to Keith. Ben Kirkham says, Keith Wilkinson. I also recommend the Wonder Weeks, and that book is dope.
Yeah,
I
third the Wonder Weeks.
The Wonder Weeks is cool because it just like, it doesn't demystify everything, but it just sort of hips you to the fact that at all these different stages, your babies turn into psychopaths again for no reason, but it's because there's this developmental shit going on behind the scenes, and it just makes you feel better about the fact that they're raging psychopaths. And it doesn't make it easier, but it just, you have a bit of understanding, and then you're like, oh, I'm not being punished.
Yeah.
By unseen forces.
And it's definitive science. Like the people who have written that book have been studying newborn babies for decades and decades and decades, and it's like within a few days, all newborn babies go through these developmental stages, like without fail. And like we've had moments where we're like, wow, what is going on? And then you open up Wonder Weeks, it's like, oh, she's in the middle of a developmental leap. This makes sense. Like,
and
yeah.
Joel saying, true. It's also total chaos theory. You need to embrace that it is what it is and take a deep breath or several. Yeah. And could not agree with that anymore. I think that's the thing that, because our kid's he's sleeping decent now, but like he hates going to sleep. He fights it tooth and nail. He wants to be up. He wants to party. He likes to hang. And just sort of, I think this entire year, we've had to come to terms with the fact that like there's so little that we actually control. Our careers, and we're at the whim of so many of these other unseen forces. Our ability to travel, see people. It's like, man, you just got to embrace it, roll with it.
Yeah.
Gaz is asking, has parenthood changed anything about the way you've been writing?
Oh.
I got one song I'm working on right now that I'm excited to show you, Joe. That is certainly, it's about being a parent, but I think it's changed the way I write, just in that, like, I'm just so tired all the time. And so maybe I'm writing a little less. That's probably not what you meant. It's probably not what you meant, but that's an honest answer. Like, it's just like the candle's burnt from both ends, and trying to find that energy to write something new is tough.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've kind of had like I mean, I'm not a prolific writer, never have been, and I've accepted the fact that I never will be. But my creative output is pretty huge. Like with it, whether it's playing guitar or practicing or learning something or wiring a pedal board or dreaming up sounds or, you know, trying to get better sounds in the studio, things like that. I'm constantly creating stuff, and I've found like the moment that Joni was born, I just had this this sort of bit of clarity of how important it is to just be creative, like as a role model, but as a person. And we've been talking about this, I think, on and off. Like it's been a small theme of these streams, but just like creativity is what makes us human. And like almost as a role model, like showing my kid, it's really, really important to exercise your creativity. And so I've been really inspired to make things. And it's also like, also comes to cooking in the kitchen and like experimenting with different flavors and, trying out recipes, and like just the act of being creative and making something out of nothing, and letting an idea take you on a trip has just become a little more important to me. And I've been able to follow some of my own advice a little bit better, and let it be less about being less result driven and more just driven by exploration. So I haven't, my actual musical creative output hasn't really gone up, and if anything, it's definitely gone down. But in the moments that I make to play or write or cook or whatever, I'm definitely a little more adventurous. And I think that this idea of making an instrumental record inspired by the little melodies that I sing to my daughter when she's going to sleep is an example of that.
Just trying to make beautiful things.
Just trying to make beautiful things. Yeah. And hopefully encourage her to find her own beautiful things to make.
Yeah, it definitely makes you flip the lens a little bit when you realize, I've noticed this with Finn so much, like he sees everything now, and he'll like, he's not really speaking fully, but he mimes and he remembers and he points to things, and it's really clear that like he's listening all the time and stuff is seeping in, which has really made me want to be the best version of myself so that I can, model that kind of behavior for him.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely like you suddenly have a reason another reason to try and be the best kind of person that you can be, because this little person's watching and you really want them to grow up to be the best person that they can be. So set a good example, I guess.
Yeah.
Daryl Haver says, "Hey boys, the feed keeps pausing all the time." Sorry, Daryl. Hi, Duke, by the way. And sorry, but we're at the mercy of the internet gods, and our connection at home is not as great as one at the studio. So if it's a little glitchy, our apologies. Hope you stick with us, but also can't do much about that.
Curse you,
curse
internet.
you, internet. Mark asks, guys, how old are your kids? Finley is February, March, April, March, April, May. Finn is 16 months old. Joey, how old is Joey? She's not quite 3.
No, she'll be 11 weeks on Tuesday.
She's such a little bub, but she's looking like such a man. She's really like, when I see her, it's like, oh, there you are. Like when they're really, really small, they just look like babies.
They just look like little dinosaurs, little fleshy dinosaurs.
But then they like start to fill out, and you're like, oh, I see your face. And then when I look back at Finn's baby pictures, I'm like, oh, he's clearly there.
Yeah.
But there seems to be like a point where it's like, oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Hi, Joni. That's your face. That's
what your face is. Totally. I go back and look at photos now of when she was newborn, and I totally see her. She was always there, but it's the little things like she raises her eyebrows a lot, so she's kind of always perpetually like surprised. It's just like, holy shit, are you seeing this? Like constantly, and it's awesome.
Joey, listen to this. Sorry, Joao says, in Brazil, we say that all babies look like knees.
That's very funny.
They kind of do.
They kind of do. Just wrinkly old, like leg joints.
Okay, a lot of parenting talk. Joey, for those that are patiently in the wings wondering about what kind of gear you've been playing over the last 3 months, you got any new stuff you want to tell us about? Any cool shit come in?
Oh man, yeah. What have I gotten? Man, I'm obsessed with dreaming up the pedal board for the new record. And we've gotten so many interesting sounds that are going to be really challenging to recreate live. And I'm digging really deep into the polyexpressive Bebo, which used to be known as the Digit, but now he had two pedals, the Bebo and the Digit. Now he's amalgamated them both into one, and now it's called the Bebo. And it's really powerful. 4 ins, 4 outs. You can do all kinds of crazy routing. It is not a plug in and play pedal. You really do have to kind of get in. I think I've talked about it before, but it's kind of the heart and soul of this wet, dry, wet rig that I'm kind of dreaming up. And I bought a massive pedal board from this dude in Australia, and I'm weighing all my pedals, trying to figure out how to get it underweight, but also have all the sounds that I want on there. So the things that I've gotten recently that I'm really inspired by, Jam Pedals sent me a little care package of things to try. So one of the sounds that we've used a couple times on the new record is the Univibe set to the vibrato setting, and I have one of the new Shinee Vibros, but it's huge and it runs off of AC. Like it's got an AC mains plug, so I can't use it internationally, otherwise it'll get damaged. So I'm using the Jam Pedals Retro Vibe, which sounds incredible. Their chorus pedal, which is called the Waterfall, that's going to be a part of this pedal board build as well as getting reacquainted with some old friends. My old Chicago Iron Octavian I think is going to make an appearance, not because we use that sound on the record, but just because it sounds so good. And R2R Electronics is this dude. His Instagram is DJ Lava Lamp, and he makes treble boosters and this really cool wah pedal. So I think that's going to be a part of the board as well. What else? Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to take some questions about gear if anybody has them.
So it sounds like you've been. Yeah, I mean, I asked because I knew that you were really vibing on building up this new pedal board.
Yeah, I've been exploring a lot of sounds. The Vertex dynamic distortion is probably going to be a part of this build as well. I've really recently gone back to the live Mike Landau recordings. The one's called Live and the other one's called Live 2000, and there were such inspiring records for me in the early days of my guitar playing, and I'm getting sort of reacquainted with a lot of those sounds, and I just love the way Mike Landau improvises. He's such an interesting guitar player, and he gets such great sounds, and he uses a wet, dry, wet rig, so that's really inspiring. Or that's been inspiring and inspiration for this board build. So yeah, I don't know, trying new things and getting reacquainted with old friends, I think is kind of the theme of my sort of guitar playing sort of in this season. And to be honest, like before Joni was born, I was kind of out of love with playing guitar. I wasn't really inspired by playing guitar. I was really enjoying playing keys a whole lot more, playing the organ, and I had finished all the background vocals for the Lowell George project, so I was in a really much more kind of arrangement headspace, and picking up the guitar just wasn't really firing me up. But since Joni's been born, and I've been sort of grounded at home, I've just sort of reconnected with the guitar and spending a lot of time playing acoustic, and built a little dad rig for home, which has been super inspiring.
Because Joel's asking, how do you set up playing a rig at home with Joni around? I assume no amp.
Yeah, I do. I do have an amp. I have a little Yamaha THR 30 Mark II, which is like, yay big, and I do play through it, but I use Line 6 HX Stomp, which has some really, 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 really great amp sounds in there. I just plug my headphones directly into that, and super inspiring sounding, really fun to play through. It does a lot of stuff, so you can, I've sort of convinced mine to become a bit of a MIDI controller for some of my MIDI pedals, which I think a lot of people who know my playing and my sort of preferences, that I like to mess with gadgets and technology. So that's super, super fun. But honestly, if you need something that's silent for home, and you want it to be either this big or this big, the HX Stomp is, I don't think it gets better than that. I mean,
I started messing around with the bigger one you sent me here the other day, Joe, the XL,
yeah,
and I'm having a riot.
it's the kind of thing where I'm like, man, I honestly think that if, like, obviously nothing to me is better than a tube amp and a great microphone, like a my 2 Rock and a Royer 121, nothing beats that sound. But if we were in a pinch and we were on in-ears, I I would gladly go direct with the HX Stomp. I would have a hard time doing that if we were on wedges. That would bum me out pretty severely. But if we were on in-ears and amp didn't show up, I mean, the HX Stomp is going to be in our rig somewhere in case that happens.
Totally.
Something happens.
I'm inclined to build a little fly rig for myself that is probably just that and one other pedal.
Let me build it for you. Let me build it for you.
I'm assuming you are. I can't do that. Let's go through some questions here, Joe. Cody Carrick, or Carrick, question for Joey. I feel like I love a lot of amps to 85 or 90%, but having the hardest time finding an amp I love that extra 10%. Any tips on finding the amp that really hits what's in your head? All of that.
Well, you know what? Like having some references of sounds that you really, really love, and getting deep inside the sound. Like, I remember chasing after some of Mike Landau's tones, and the questions that I was asking myself are like, what does the front end of the note sound like or feel like? Is there a little bit of compression? Like, does the note bloom or is it immediate? I think being able to identify those things is going to be really helpful for you figuring out what it is you're after. And then also doing the research, like what kind of tube configuration does that? So a lot of lower wattage amps will give you a little more natural compression just off the get-go. So maybe if that's something you're looking for, a little bit of squish, maybe that's something you're looking for. If you're looking for something with more a little bit of squish but more power, maybe you're looking for something like a JTM 45 style, like a Marshall JTM 45 style amp. Or maybe you want something that's super immediate and really clean. Knowing what it is you're after, and kind of knowing historically what circuits do those things, because I mean, I think there's a lot of people who are claiming to be making brand new things from scratch, but I think that most of the time, and of course I'm not an engineer, so I don't know this from experience, but most of the time people are making things based off of either a Fender circuit, a Marshall circuit, or a Vox circuit, or some derivative thereof, because obviously now there's a lot more of that. There's like Dumble, which is kind of inspired by Fender with a whole bunch of crazy mods and things like Trainwreck, of course, I think is based off of maybe a Vox with some crazy mods. So I think like just kind of knowing historically what does what and being able to identify the sounds is going to help, and then also just, man, market research, playing through a bunch of things until you find that thing. But for me, I think 99% of the battle is knowing how to get the sounds out of the guitar first, and then if you're plugging into a nice amplifier, you might have to pivot to this amp is a little mid-heavy, or it's a little mid-light, it's a little scooped, it's maybe a little bit trebly, knowing how to manipulate that. But if I can get a good sound out of my guitar, and then I'm plugging into, any half decent amp, you should be okay. And of course, it's like, I run into, like, lots of people run into this with backline amps, where you plug into something that's like not that great. You have to be able to figure out how to get a usable sound. So I've always said I would take a cheaper guitar and a more expensive amp, and I think that's because I kind of know what to do with a guitar to get it to kind of do what I want, between the way that you touch it, the pickup selection, and the tone knob. That to me is a big part of the battle. And then as long as the amp is half decent, it's okay. That said, to this day, and I've said this a million times, I cannot get a good sound out of a Vox AC30.
I know that to be true.
I've heard some of the greatest guitar tones come out of Vox circuits, or Vox style circuits, or Vox. I just can't do it. I plug into a Vox amp. My buddy Stuart Cameron gets some of the greatest sounds out of an AC30. I plug into the exact same amp, and it's just like noodles.
I'll stand to it. When I see the Vox AC30 as backline on stage, I'm like, ooh.
Oh, we're gonna have a weird
cringy.
night.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, and it's no love lost for Vox. It's just a circuit that I don't understand.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
It's Ben. I'm not sure what time it is over there, Ben, but it might actually be time for us to tell your kids to go to sleep, isn't it? Let us know in the comments. Nell and Mabley might
be bedtime.
Might be bedtime for Nell and Mabley. But it's been a while. Maybe they stay up later.
It's been a while.
Joey, tell us about the fancy schmancy Isle of Tone signature pedal.
Yeah. Okay. It's not a signature pedal. It's a bit of a collaboration. The circuit is no different. They're doing a run of pedals with the inspired by Roberta's artwork, but they're just doing their same circuits. And I think, Joe Huber from Isle of Tone has been posting, I found great transistors. Like, every single pedal he makes has great transistors in it. So it started off as him saying, hey, I think you would like this new pedal that we're making. Would you like me to set one aside for you? It's like, yeah, absolutely. I would love to buy one. And then he said, well, let's do something fun with the artwork. And I said, okay, great. What do you want to do? And he was like, I would love to use some of your sister-in-law's designs. And so he put a ton of work into making it happen. And then he messaged me and said, I've put in a lot of work and, frankly, a lot of money to get this happening. What would you say about us making a few of them and selling them, just because it's too cool, and we've worked too hard to make it happen to only make one. So that's kind of what it's all about. So I think there's going to be one 67, which is like the germanium, 169, which is the silicone, and then 266s, which are the Tone Bender Mark 1, I think. There's 4, I believe. But I mean, yeah, the pedals that he makes are so crazy. They're really expensive, but I just think in terms of a vintage inspired fuzz pedal, there's nothing that I've tried yet that beats those things. They're cool. They're really remarkable.
And there's so tough.
Yeah, and there's only going to be 5 of them, one of which is coming to me. So it's a pretty unique thing. But yeah, but it's not. I think it's not a signature thing. Like, I haven't had any input on the circuit. It's all their design. I guess I'm just the muse for the artwork.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool, and I'm very excited about it. It's going to be really, really cool. So I'm not sure when they're going to go out, but soonish.
A bunch of questions I want to get to. This one's really quick. Ben Kirkham says, tell them to get off Minecraft, put the jams on, and brush their teeth, please.
Okay.
Joey?
No, go ahead.
Nell? Mably, it's time to get off your computer screen, log out of Minecraft or whatever you do, put on your J's, short for pajamas,
Jimmy Jams.
and please brush your teeth and don't forget to floss. Don't make
Because
me tell you why you need to floss. Tune in next week and I'll tell you why you need to floss. But guys, for real, this is your Canadian step uncles telling you it's time to go to bed.
it's time to go to bed. Hey, you're going to have a great sleep. You're going to wake up Sunday morning. Dad's going to make you a beautiful breakfast. Pancakes.
He's going to make you chocolate chip pancakes with extra whipped cream.
Yeah.
He told me.
And ice cream.
And steak.
Yeah.
And he's going to let you put 4 teaspoons of refined sugar on your spaghetti at dinner tomorrow. He told me.
Oh man, I think we've just been fired from step uncle-in-law.
Okay, more questions. I like this one because nobody ever asked us anything on Twitter. So Prairie Strings, thank you for listening to us over on Twitter/Periscope. Dave, have you ever used slide on bass for a part on an album? Nope. Hasn't happened. Probably won't happen. I don't think you'd let me, Joe. I think you would veto it.
You could try it if you wanted.
I mean,
I feel like fretless bass would get you a better result, but
Yeah.
what do I know? What
If
do I
that
know?
ever comes up, I'll give you credit on a record for the inspiration. Jay Knudsen on the West Coast.
Hey Jay.
Although I'm looking at that profile picture, thinking maybe that's a different Jay Knudsen.
Oh,
That's maybe Jay Knudsen, and maybe we know Jay Knutson. Anyways, Jay's looking for an improved fuzz face. Any suggestions?
oh man, lots and lots and lots out there.
Give me two. Give me two, Joe. Just two.
It's impossible. It's impossible. Benson has just made a germanium fuzz. It's not necessarily a fuzz face per se, but it is very fuzz face flavored that regulates its own temperature, which is really important because germanium transistors are really fussy to the temperature. If they get too hot, they poop out. So that's why Hendrix famously kept his fuzz face in the fridge before gigs. But Benson has come up with a way to regulate that. My pal Jesse Davey, King of Kingtone Pedals fame, makes a great fuzz face inspired fuzz called the Mini Fuzz. Zach Broyles, my dear buddy, makes a pedal called the Golden Fleece, which is not exactly a fuzz face, but it's very, very you could use it like a fuzz face on your pedal board, and it's killer. Jackson Audio makes a great fuzz pedal just called Fuzz, which is modular. You can change the circuit boards out to have fuzz face or like our Ram's Head Big Muff. It's a really, really cool pedal, and it's got a clean octave blend built into it. So instead of boost, it's got the Cobb style Octavia fuzz thing. So that's a really cool pedal too. So there's a handful there. And then we've got some suggestions in the comment section, you said?
Yeah, I'll whip them past really quick. Guys are saying Analog Man, Sunface.
Oh yeah, if you can get one.
And Chase Tone Red Velvet from Steve Hubbard.
Yeah.
Okay, a few more questions.
Both great pedals.
Connor Sean says, hate to be the clown asking drum-related questions here. You're not a clown. There are no bad questions. However, when I was listening to the Let It Lie album, I just realized how great the snare drum sound is. Any tips?
That's not my department. That was Don Benedictson recorded the drums on that record, and hired Don Benedictson to record your drums.
And I hate to say it, but the way Ryan hits a drum is second to only maybe a couple of drummers I've ever met in my entire life. He knows how to make drums sing by hitting them with sticks. And I don't know how he does it. And if you could bottle that kind of juju, you would be
I can't make anything sing when I hit it with a stick.
Exactly. It's It's uncanny. So much of it is in his hands. He's also so good at tuning drums.
Yeah.
He gets his kits sounding great. Yeah, Ryan has got some of the best tones of any
Book a
drummer I've ever
lesson.
worked with.
Book a lesson with Ryan Voth.
Yeah, call him up. And then Donnie too. Like Donnie recorded that album and did a beautiful job capturing those sounds. So, but that early on, I wasn't paying attention to the way things were being recorded. I could not have told you anything about how that session went down. I was just hanging on for dear life. Joey, Shay's asking, any suggestions for a beginner home studio vocal mic? Broad question, but it's hard to know where to begin. He's looking for something dark, thick, and smooth, like a good coffee.
Dark, thick, and smooth. Something like maybe a U47 clone. Warm Audio makes a microphone called the FET47, which is, I think, a little on the cheaper side, but is a great microphone for getting some nice low end. It also does have plenty of top end on it too, which is something that you can always EQ out, but it's hard to, unless you've got some really great outboard gear, it's kind of hard to get it back in. Also, if you're looking for something really dark and kind of syrupy, like a ribbon mic, will definitely get you there, but you have to be careful because the ribbon elements are really, really sensitive to, like, for example, like a puff of air on like plosives like P's and B's, you could actually damage the filament. So I would say if you buy a ribbon mic, you got to be pretty careful. If you're new and you're not super confident, then I would do something like the FET47 because I think they're relatively inexpensive, or something kind of like that. But yeah, something like a U87 clone is sort of going to have a little more top end and a little more air on it. So if you're not looking for that, you might want to stay away from that. But I think anything based on, I'm a big fan of stuff that's based on old vintage stuff. So I like 87, 67s, 47s.
Those warm audio mics that we have are some of the nicest sounding mics.
Well, they're the nicest sounding mics that I have. I don't really have a huge mic locker, but they sound really, really great.
Yeah.
And they've yet to let me down, and they're affordable. They're not crazy expensive.
Not
you're not going to. No, but you're not going to be spending thousands and thousands and thousands. Like a Neumann 87 sort of remake is $3,000 Canadian, whereas the warm audio one is like $800, I think, or $1,000.
What about the SM7?
Yeah, SM7 is really, really great too, but it's not necessarily that like thick syrupy thing that Shay, I think, is maybe describing. You can't go wrong with an SM7. I mean, they're really versatile microphones, but it is a dynamic mic and kind of responds a certain way.
I got a good one here, Joe. Bowden McAllister says, "I'm home."
Yes.
For those of you just joining us, Bowden started the top of the conversation by saying that he was walking home drunk and listening to this podcast, or listening to whatever we're doing, talking on the internet, and we've been kind of teasing him as he's been walking home, telling him to keep his eyes up and stop watching the show, but he made it without killing himself, so we're very happy. Drink a lot of water, take a couple of Tylenols. Your head's going to hurt tomorrow, but you deserve it. And it's because you're 19.
He's 19?
Yeah. And he asked us about growing a beard. I didn't answer that question, but how old am I? 36? This is how long it's taken me for this beard to grow. I've been working on for 36 years.
My advice is grow out a big beard and then cut away anything that is not a magnificent beard.
Joe Wilson's asking, any plans to come back to the UK when the new album comes out? Hell yes. Yeah. We actually have our tour dates. We're going to be announcing them real soon. If we're coming back in March.
Fingers crossed.
It's happening, man. We're announcing them. The world may sabotage us, but man, people are doing tour dates like this summer. We're going to be good for the spring.
Crazy.
Of next year. So anyways, listen, here's the deal. Tour dates. We're announcing UK and Europe tour dates at the end of the month, probably, give or take. So if you want to get your first crack at best tickets, please follow us on Patreon or go to our website and throw your email address into our newsletter. Those are the folks that will get the first crack at pre-sale tickets. So go ahead and do that. And then I can't wait. We got some big rooms. We got some beautiful theaters or beautiful clubs that we're playing. It's a big tour for us. Hopefully we'll have the new record out while we get out there, or at least some new music out. So it's going to be fun. We're going to play some new tunes. We're going to go back on the road. We're going to play for you. It's going to be amazing. I really want to fill those rooms. So you guys come on up.
Come on out.
Come on up. Oh, somebody's asking about vinyl. That's a Dave question. Kai Mankey says, hey, folks, cheers from Hamburg. Question. I wanted to buy some vinyl.
Moin, Hamburg. Moin.
Moin,
Moin, moin. Yeah.
I wanted to buy some vinyl of your previous albums, but hey, you ran out of stock. Any plans for a rerun of the Let It Lie and Undercover Bros albums? I love your songs. Great repertoire. Stay healthy. Has 87 and loves it. Yes, I will get some new vinyl out to the European store as soon as I can get to the post office. For now, I think there are some copies on our US store. The shipping might be a little more expensive, but you could order it there and get it sooner if you don't want to wait. We've never printed Undercover Brothers on vinyl, but I have every intention to. Was thinking about maybe doing it for Record Store Day. Maybe.
We should do a volume 2 of that. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. We should totally do it. We should add it to our list of recording projects that we want to do. It'd be a blast.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking the other day, Joe? I never thought I'd say this, but I miss playing Let 'Em In. I've been thinking about the set list. I mean, I'm daydreaming about playing music again.
Yeah.
But I actually miss that song. It's been long enough.
I don't know, man. I think that ship sailed for me. It sailed for me. Yeah. I've seen enough people do covers of our cover that it's like, I'm okay. I'm okay to let that. But who knows? You know, everybody always wants to hear it. Mm-hmm. So maybe I should just hop off my high horse and just do it. I don't know why I did that accent. I'm sorry to anybody who has a southern accent. I apologize.
Anybody with a horse, apologies.
Anybody who owes, apologies to horses everywhere.
Are you a horse? Are any of your friends horses? Would you like
to be a horse?
Joey. Yeah. Jake Newson's very funny, and he says, "Do a volume 3 and confuse everyone." That is my kind of that is my kind of humor. We should totally do volume 3.
People will be like, "Where's volume 2?"
And just never address the question. Just be like,
just never answer it. Yeah. Okay, well let's absolutely do that. I love that.
Bowden McAllister, who I feel like is the mascot for the show, says, "I'm definitely a horse at this point."
Oh, yes.
Thank you for the comedy, friend.
Nay, buddy. Nay.
So Peter Underhill, hey Peter, good to see you again, man. He says, choose another Paul McCartney tune to redo. We used to do Let Me Roll It. I thought that rocks so hard. I love playing that song. It's so badass, and nobody ever cared.
I wonder if people would fart. I wonder if people would dig it more now, because when we were doing Let Me Roll It, it was at a different sort of time in our trajectory. You know, we were doing more support slots. We were doing more like random club dates in new markets. Like, I wonder if that would hit a little harder now that people are kind of following along with us a little more. I love that song. It's also so fun to play.
If we played that, we probably played that song 20 or 30 times live before we cut it. And I bet you out of the 20 or 30 times we played it live, we probably only played it loud 3 times. And the other 27 times would have been in coffee shops and tiny little bars where we were trying to behave and not tear people's heads off. Because you got to lean into it.
Yeah, the Madison Cunningham cover of "Arrow Right Through Me." Oh man, it's so good. It made me want to cover that song so bad, but it was just like, there is no other cover of that song.
Isn't that
Scary Pockets?
John Lennon?
No,
that's McCartney.
It's Wings. Yeah. Oh baby,
yeah, of course it is.
The original recording of that tune is actually so awesome. Also, I mean, I shouldn't say actually. Of course, Paul McCartney is awesome, but a lot of times you hear a cover like that, And it's like, man, how could anything top that? And a lot of times, like, I hear covers like that, and I go back to the original, go, I think I like the cover better. But the Paul McCartney version of that tune is slamming. It is so cool and like very current, actually. It's like it's the way it's recorded and stuff is like very reminiscent of how people are making stuff now. So anyway,
Yeah.
I got all excited about that. But yeah, we should come up with a new Paul McCartney cover. I feel like the record that Arrow Right Through Me tune is off of, there's another one or two tunes off of there that could be
We could mine
super
something.
weird and obscure. Yeah. The other one that I've always loved, and we did it back when we did that the Paul McCartney tribute gig, is Jet.
Oh yeah, that's
I
Peter.
can almost imagine the funny faces. Yeah.
Peter Underhill said Jet too. We should bash that out. You know, it's really fun. We have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to actually like work on some of this music in a way that we never have, because we have all this time. So it'll be fun to actually jam some stuff out. You're a wreck over there. Man, there was a question up here that I wanted to answer. Oh, maybe we'll do a couple more, Joe, and then we'll call it.
I was kind of hoping Joni would wake up so I could introduce her to the internet, but she's being a lazy baby, so lazy ass baby won't wake up, sleeping into the afternoon.
Steve Hubbard Guitar says, have either of you struggled with tendonitis or any other injuries that impact your ability to play and perform?
Yes.
Joey, tell me about it.
Yeah, I long story short, I had a lot of trouble with what I thought was my wrist. Turned out to be my neck and shoulder were just super, super tight. I went to see an athletic therapist who put me through agonizing deep tissue massage, but was able to get me right kind of within 6 weeks of starting to see him. The main takeaway, I'm not a healthcare professional, so this is just me sharing my experience, but the thing that really helped was to actually go to the gym. And I'm not talking about, pumping iron, but just going and exercising and building up bigger muscle groups, because when you do nothing but this same motion over and over and over and over, it strengthens a lot of fine motor muscles and neglects a lot of big muscles. Of course, I'm not a professional, so I'm sure somebody out there might be able to explain that or speak to that with more accuracy. But that's kind of in a nutshell. I started to go to the gym and start trying to open up my chest a little bit and strengthen my shoulders and strengthen my neck and just some upper body. And it made a really, really big difference. Funny enough, now I haven't been to the gym in over a year. My fitness is non-existent with being a new dad, and my wrists are starting to bother me again. So I think it's time for me to kind of go get some deep tissue massage and hopefully get back to the gym or find a way to do some more exercising at the house, because I'm starting to feel those things suffer again.
Get a sweat on. Get your sweat on. Ben says, you guys should take a stab at Nina Simone's I Get Along Without You very well. That's a great track.
I love Nina Simone. Let's take one more question. I got to pop off.
No, one more question. Somebody somebody give us a new question in the comments. Give us something spicy.
Yeah. Lob a spicy meatball over here.
And then we'll pretend we didn't see it. And answer an easy one. Because I just can't be challenged right now. Shay was also asking, are you guys going to resume a weekly thing? He's missed us and he's glad to see us back. I think the intent is to try and get back.
I think we're definitely going to try. It's so hard with a new baby to have any kind of regular schedule, but we're gonna try.
How about we just end it? On? Okay. Couple. Well. Oh man. Oh man.
What?
Okay. Well, Jay's asked. This is the third time, so I'll answer Jay's question. Jay's asking, is Ariel touring with you? No, he will not be. We're gonna tour as four piece with
keyboards.
Keys.
And Ariel has got just announced a bunch of tour dates. I think right before we get out there, I think he's doing a very similar lap in March, early March, and we're going to go out late March 2022.
Yeah.
So check out his tickets are on sale. Go and scoop them up. But I love this. Bowden McAllister says, "I'm too drunk for questions."
Just statements. Right on, man.
Perfectly accurate, folks. We're gonna sign off. We have parental duties to attend to, and going back to whiling away the hours while we wait for this pandemic to lift so that we can get back to work. But in the meantime, yeah, keep an eye out for us. We're going to be hanging out on the internet once a week.
Yep. Hey, this has been really, really fun. It is, what is it, the 22nd today? May 22nd, 2021. This has been Karate in the Garage with your favorite Canadian bros, the Bros Slandreth.
Soft Rock Dads.
Soft Rock Dads coming at you from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Central Standard Time. I don't know why I'm doing that. Love you, Dave.
Love you, brother. Miss you.
Miss you too. Talk soon, everybody.
Bye, y'all.